Considering that I am really late into the game with this review, it's going to be probably a quicker response to what I thought of this movie, because as I've been thinking about it, it has just gotten worse. And that movie is Chaos Walking, the new 2021 film that was shot back in 2017, I believe, and was in production hell ever since up until now when it has finally been released. Chaos Walking is directed by Doug Liman and it stars Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley, who, of course, you know both of them from Tom Holland, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Daisy Ridley, the Star Wars universe. So we're going to get into the plot a little bit. No spoilers again on this channel. There never will be. But we're just going to mainly go into my biggest negatives for the film rather than the positives, because this is the first time where I really didn't take notes during a film to try and really engage with what the movie was about, because I just couldn't. I simply could not get into the characters. I simply could not get into the world. Even though I liked the characters, I didn't like their goals. I didn't like what their struggles were, because there wasn't a good balance between the inner thoughts and the outer thoughts that were ruining them. And they were supposed to be ruining Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley's relationship, but they kind of ruined it themselves. And then, obviously, you know, by the end of the movie, they do kind of get that second chance, and I won't say whether or not they do escape these inner thoughts, but they do definitely deal with them throughout the entire film, and I just don't understand how the novel adaptation of the screenplay went through so many rewrites and still ended up the way that it did. Look, I wanted to like this movie, I really did, but at the end of the day, I just didn't. And it's one of those bad movies that are bad. They're not fun bad to watch with your friends or to just laugh out loud and eat popcorn, because I just didn't want to do anything like that. I honestly thought about other things while watching this movie, and it saddens me because I'm a huge fan of sci-fi, but when it comes down to it, it's not the novel's fault, and I haven't read the novel, but it is the movie's fault for not engaging us thoroughly and just giving us the bare minimum of what we need to know about these characters and this world. And so I think they focused a little bit too much on the inner thoughts rather than the outer thoughts. And the movie could have been a lot more silent, I think, and I think that would have benefited the film if there was more mystery to what was happening instead of just always telling us exposition scene after scene. And it's another film where you do kind of just move on from one scene to the next. So this information and review may be a little bit repetitive, but that's because the film is also. There's nothing new groundbreaking to the sci-fi genre, even though they did try. I will say as well that the action, while it is entertaining, was not my favorite parts of the film. It just felt like you knew what was going to happen every single time they attempted at not trying to get you to know what was going to happen. And that is because you do hear their inner thoughts. So while it is a narration that you are following, I kind of wish that narration was taken away or taken out, even though that's what the whole film is about. Hearing the quieter moments and the moments where they do talk to each other, those are the moments I loved and was actually way more engaged in than anything else. So it's just weird relationships all around. The villains themselves even seem to be detached from being villains, and I don't know why that is. I think maybe that is because they were able to at least master their own thoughts and were able to just get things done quicker. But to me, there wasn't a good balance between the villains or the good guys either, because everyone is sharing their same thoughts, so everybody knows what everybody is thinking. I don't know. It's a movie where you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, but I am throwing a fit. At the end of the day, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and give my rating for this film. I simply just did not have a good time with it, even though I wanted to and tried throughout the entire film. But as it goes on, it really does just focus on wanting to tell a story that it seems new and exciting, but really isn't, just because the characters don't have much to do, and that's all that they get. They get each other, they have to put up with each other, and then they have to put up with the next scene that they are going to. But again, it basically foreshadows everything that's going to happen to these characters, and it just didn't work for me. Again, it was really the balance of good guy versus bad guy, and balance of their own relationships of the main characters that we're supposed to be following, kind of just fell flat a little bit, way too much for me. So overall, I'm going to now give my rating for the film. And I know other people are liking this movie, but I just don't know why, and I would like to hear those thoughts as well. So in the comments, do let me know if you guys enjoyed this movie or are wanting to rewatch it. For me, I will not be revisiting it for a while. This is definitely better than Doug Liman's Lockdown on HBO, but definitely not any better. So I'm hoping the space movie he does with Tom Cruise, where they're actually going up into space, and Edge of Tomorrow 2 really does bring it home and brings him back into the spotlight a bit, because these past two movies have just not been good whatsoever. So that being said, I gave it a 1 star on Letterboxd, and I'm going to be giving it a 10% out of 100. I just did not like this movie, and that's it. That's really all it comes down to. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.